Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, June 24, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. You all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what that's been like in your ear recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Taking a look at the US Climate Prediction Center's Global Tropics Hazards Outlook that just came out today from the forecaster POG. They have highlighted that for the time period from July 2 to July 8, as well as July 9 to July 15, the Caribbean extending into portions of the main development region should be shaded in some slight shades of brown that represent a 50% chance of below average rainfall probability. Boy, not what we want to hear at all. We'd rather the rainfall, but this is what the US Climate Prediction Center is showing. Even although we know that whatever they're showing isn't 100% set in stone, and we could have quite the opposite. We have to take these forecasts as a grain of salt, but clearly we still see that we have the red patterns to the south of Mexico that represent a 20% chance of cyclone formation probability around that time. That's July 2 to July 8, and we also see a lot of that across a portion of the western Pacific near the Philippines to the south of Japan. Very interesting for both time frames for sure. It's going to be very interesting to see exactly what unfolds. As a matter of fact, we also see an increase in moisture across portions of Africa. So could that be the intertropical convergence, well, not the intertropical convergence zone, but the monsoon trough across West Africa, setting the stage up for, sending those tropical waves from Africa across the main development region? We'll see exactly what unfolds, but clearly all of those browns have something else in mind. So we'll see how all of this unfolds. Alright, so taking a look at the US National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook, we can see that as of the latest update that just came out at 7:14 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we now have a brand new tropical storm. That's Tropical Storm Andrea. And if we take a look at the infrared, we won't really make her out. She's all the way over here. We don't even see thunderstorms associated with her. But if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can make out the clouds associated with Andrea swirling away right in here, pushing off quickly towards the northeast. As of right now, the Hurricane Center stated that Andrea is a 40 mile per hour tropical storm. She's packing maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour. She's moving towards the northeast at 20 miles per hour, where she's expected to dissipate or downgrade back to a tropical depression. By around 2 a.m. on Wednesday, we see that the tropical storm force wind field is very small in the gold shades right here, very far from any landmass at all, definitely out in the open waters of the Atlantic, basically affecting the fish or the ships at sea if there are any out there. 40 mile per hour winds, as you can see here, so it's definitely on the low end of the scale in terms of tropical storm status. We know that tropical storms pack maximum sustained winds of anywhere from 39 to 73 mile per hour winds, so definitely closer to tropical depression status than a category 1 hurricane for sure. A weak tropical storm, but we finally have the first name on the list, which is Andrea. On the eastern Pacific side of things, the area right here to the south of Mexico is setting up the stage for the next name on the list. Let us read out the Hurricane Center stated about this possible area. An area of low pressure located a few hundred miles south of the coast of Guatemala continues to produce disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions appear conducive for gradual development of this system later this week, and the tropical depression is likely to form over the weekend while the system moves slowly west-northwestward of the coast of southern Mexico. And we see that they've given the system a 10% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days, and we also see that they've given the system a 70% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. And we know that if we actually get something to formulate out of that system, the next name on the list would be Flossie. And we can see the clouds, the showers, and the thunderstorms associated with that system right in here to the south of Central America. Nothing quite organized right now, but we do see the clouds, the showers, and the thunderstorms out there for sure. Nothing really going on as we speak. However, on the western Pacific side of things, we're still watching that system that was right here to the south of Japan. It was a tropical storm yesterday. That was Tropical Storm Sepat. Now it's downgraded back to a TD, Tropical Depression. We also see 96W right over here to the west of the Philippines. Let's look at the infrared and see it all even better. So we see the clouds associated with Tropical Depression Sepat right here. For reference, we have Japan right in here. We have North and South Korea right in here. We have China, we have Taiwan, we have the Philippines, and to the west of the Philippines, we have a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity associated with that possible system that could formulate. According to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, that system has a medium % chance of development. It is now dubbed 96 W, so that could get the possible next name on the list. We'll see exactly what unfolds over there, but as it relates to the tropical depression, it's still expected to push out towards the northeast, definitely coming very close to the coastline of southeastern Japan, very close to Tokyo for sure, but it's expected to remain weak, 30 knots, 25 knots, very weak system for sure. We know tropical storm basically pack maximum sustained winds of 34 to 64 knots, so definitely weak. Right down in their tropical depression status, so it should remain with that intensity as it passes east of Japan. Either way, these systems can definitely dump a lot of rainfall across land, so get in touch with your friends or relatives who reside in Japan. Let them know that you know what's going on. That's if they've maybe haven't even heard about this system. It's so weak they probably haven't even heard that something is out there at all. Alright, taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. As stated, we have ridges of high pressure to the north that we know are responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean, sending a lot of tropical waves from east to west, a lot of Saharan dust from east to west, a tropical wave right here to the west of Jamaica, a tropical wave right here across the central Caribbean, another tropical wave right here to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands, and all of those are pushing to the west within some Saharan dust. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can make out all of the entities that we just mentioned. First of all, we have Andrea. We have the tropical wave that passed through Jamaica today. Another tropical wave is somewhere in here. According to the surface map, another tropical wave is somewhere in here as well. And we can make out the low level flow of the clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridges of high pressure to the north. We can also make out the upper level clouds, the high cirrus clouds being sheared off towards the east or towards the east-northeast by that upper level wind shear. We'll be talking about the rest of the Caribbean so later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Tuesday, June 24, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast of parts of southern and eastern Jamaica on Tuesday morning, also affecting parts of some eastern, central, and western parishes during Tuesday afternoon. And we know southern parishes we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. Eastern parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Central parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While Western parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? At around 11:41 a.m., the visible satellite images were posted not only here on our Twitter page over the Jamaica, but it was also posted on our Instagram page over the Jamaica, on our TikTok page over the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page over the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So at that time, we definitely had the clouds across sections of southern Jamaica for sure. We saw them pushing through sections of southern St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, northwestern St. Catherine. We also saw some clouds pushing through eastern Jamaica too. Portland, St. Thomas definitely got in on some morning rainfall with the clouds pushing in from the east. And then at around 12:35 p.m., we saw those clouds really pushing off towards the west, more so those clouds that we saw in the south pushing more so northward, so it's more so across sections of central Jamaica. And we also saw the clouds blanketing the entire eastern portions of the island. Portland, St. Thomas definitely getting in on the thunderstorm activity. Definitely got nailed over there in St. Thomas for sure. And then by around 2:35 p.m., the infrared close-up satellite image was posted, and it highlighted the thunderstorms that were taking place across mainly central and western parishes at the time. But clearly those high cloud tops were being sheared off towards the east, bringing more overcast skies to those areas. So it definitely had the thunderstorm activity for sure. The visible satellite images right here confirming the entire island being blanketed with clouds, showers, and thunderstorms, but not everywhere got in on the rainfall at all. Definitely got all of the rainfall pushing through, especially across central and western parishes, exiting western end of the island with the upper level clouds being sheared off towards the east by that upper level wind shear as usual. We can see it all even better on the infrared close-up satellite images right here. Look at all of the cumulonimbus clouds, the blues, greens, yellows, oranges, reds, the blocks, all of the thunderstorms pushing off from east to west. We see the sparkling white dot that represent that lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes activity. All of it exiting the Hanover and Westmoreland coast, St. Elizabeth and St. James coast as well, pushing out to the west of us. But that upper level wind shear definitely strong, blowing those high cloud tops off towards the east, bringing more overcast skies section of central and eastern parishes as we were losing the sunlight. And if we take a look at the live camera here from C Jamaica's YouTube channel showing downtown Kingston at around 1:04 p.m., you can definitely make out that it was raining at that time. Some decent rainfall with some windy conditions as well. Some moderate rainfall for sure. People walking about, going about their business. Guess they didn't get the memo about the rainfall that would have taken place. Some of this rainfall that was forecasted for eastern Jamaica was predicted to push into sections of some central parishes as well. So Kingston, St. Andrew, we're in the east, but pretty sure that section of St. Catherine got on some of the rainfall as well. Definitely gotten on some decent rainfall for sure over there. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit C Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams for your viewing pleasure, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Even the total accumulated precipitation forecast, well, for the past 24 hours, showed that we had some rainfall across section of the island today, but it is not 100% accurate because we definitely saw that rainfall across section of some southern parishes too. So even Kingston, we don't see it shaded here, but you know these maps they aren't 100% accurate, but it does paint quite the picture for we might have had that rainfall today. We definitely have the comments coming in today from some of our subscribers. We have Randale Green sitting, good evening weather Jamaica. We get some rain in Brownstone, St. Anne, but it's not partly cloudy. We also have Nego Zia Baby stating overcast with light drizzle in Flower Hill, St. James. Veronica Stewart 9265 stating good evening. We got two different portions of rain heavily, and at the moment it seems it is going to rain again. Western Hanover, goodness. Hanover is just getting all of the rainfall. Thanks for confirming. We also have the Dwayne Night 1126 stating overcast most of the, I think that should say day, in porous Manchester, little rain. Thanks for confirming. Even on our Instagram page, we have the comments coming in. Blessed underscore Gabby 4 stating raining in St. James, lots of thunder. Marlon underscore 1 God underscore stating cloudy conditions in southern Clarendon. We also have Key underscore Cousins, rain at Teardown Cross Road. Unbothered Zana, rain, halfway tree. We have one Ryan underscore sitting overcast with thunder in Hanover so far. Then an update a couple minutes later, raining now. Thanks for confirming. We even have on our Facebook page Latoya Taylor, it feel well cool today and the sun going on and off. And finally from Facebook we have Anisha Trail. I wonder when Spanish Town will get rain. Latoya Taylor, get rain in St. Elizabeth where I am. And we have Twiggy on our Twitter page, a little windy in downtown Kingston. Like Fine Wine stating very windy. Thank you all for confirming the weather in your ear for me today. Alright, so let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. Let us see what's happening right now. The latest still image is showing 0035 UTC, which is actually 7:35 p.m. So this just came out 9 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:44 p.m. right now, and we're still making out some cloudy conditions across sections of the island, especially the west and the southwest. I see these yellows, reds, but more than likely there isn't much in the way of rainfall over those areas. It's just some clouds. Usually the rainfall is usually wherever we have the sparkling white dust, the lightning strikes, but it could be raining underneath some of these clouds. Let me know if you're having rainfall right now. Unfortunately, we don't have the latest Cuban Doppler radar to show, so let us reload the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar, the latest Cayman radar. Let us see if those kind of show us what's taking place now. So the Cuban Doppler radar has been glitched out, showing June 22 for the past couple of days. It's June 24 now, still glitched out. The Cuban US Navy radar showing rainfall across portion of southeastern Cuba to the northwest of Guantanamo today. We also see where we had some moderate to heavy rainfall across portions of Haiti today. I'm sure they got nailed. They got some decent rainfall, and we also saw some of that rainfall across section of northeastern Jamaica. The Cayman radar showing some of that rainfall exiting the coast of western Jamaica. We see the blues that represent light rainfall, the greens represent moderate rainfall, and the yellows represent some heavy rainfall right here. Not much affecting the Cayman Islands though. We see most of that rainfall to the south and the east of there, as well as to the west of there too. The live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel shows that we don't have much of anything taking place right now. Definitely dry conditions, as you can see here. People in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing in the way of bad weather taking place at this time. But we can clearly see that the waters of the Rio Cobra are definitely a bit murky from the rainfall that have been plaguing the area, if not upstream, for the past 2 days. As usual, that's what it does. Just so that people are staying safe. We don't want any accident around there at all. It's usually accident prone whenever the water gets murky. Hopefully nothing really takes place. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see 26 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Wednesday, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay and Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Wednesday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Wednesday, and we can see Jamaica right here for the most part embedded in degrees. That represents average temperatures, and we know the average temperature for the month of June across Jamaica is around 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 32.2 degrees Celsius. But that should be the temperature forecast for Jamaica on Wednesday. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS Online's Twitter page. I have to highlight. And we know that we have to highlight this because we know that when we have power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Wednesday, June 25, 2025. We're referring to Lime Tree Garden in the parish of St. Anne from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Potosi Avenue and Ken Hill Drive Pembroke Hall, all in the parish of St. Andrew from 9:30 am to 5 p.m. Guys Hill, Decoy Road, Woodside, Palmetto Grove in the parish of St. Catherine from 9:15 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Also, Fustic Grove as well as Good Hope in the parish of Westmoreland from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We also have Swamp Lane in St. Catherine 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Jacksontown to Sawyers in Trelawney from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And finally, we have Cove Back Road in the parish of Hanover from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest part of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated. Drink lots of water throughout the day even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. The dry air map still showing that the most dry air in the yellows, oranges, and reds are across the northeastern portion of North Atlantic as well as closer to Africa. We still have a lot of moisture across the Bahamas, the Gulf, the Caribbean, the Eastern Pacific, and the Intertropical Convergence Zone, which explains all of the clouds. And that's what we want. We want more rainfall to keep water in our pies. But look at this, for the next 3 days, the Saharan dust is definitely coming through. June 25 is when the Saharan dust should return, especially by the afternoon hours. We see some of the greens, yellows, oranges coming through. Even on June 26, we still see some oranges coming through. June 27 as well. So Saharan dust is definitely back, but it is nothing compared to what we had 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago when we had that vigorous plume, the reds and the pinks, that was some crazy Saharan dust. But the Saharan dust that's coming through for the next couple of days is going to be noticeable. It could trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons, but not as significant as what we had 3 weeks ago. And the waves are also going to be up there. We see the dark blues into the purples across the central Caribbean, and the waters to the east of the Caribbean as well. That's representing anywhere from 2 to 2.5 meter wave heights. And that's because of the winds. We see the strong easterly flow across the Caribbean. Bright greens into the yellows, representing anywhere from 15 to 20 to 25 knot winds. But if we zoom in a bit on Jamaica's wave forecast, to the north of Portland tomorrow, 1.8 meter wave height. To the north of St. Anne, 1.4 meter wave height. To the north of Hanover, 0.94 meter wave height. To the south of Westmoreland, 1 meter wave height. To the south of St. Elizabeth, 1.5 meter wave height. To the south of St. Catherine, 1.5 meter wave height. And to the south of St. Thomas, 2.3 meter wave height. So the highest waves are right here to the southeast. And that's because the winds are going to be a bit strong for sure. We see the flow coming in from the east, if not the east-southeast. And we see the greens, we see the yellows, all of which we know represent the 15 to 20 knots, even up to 25 knots in the yellows for sure. And we see where the air is going to be piling up, especially across sections of some western and some northern parishes for sure. So we could get all of those clouds building during the afternoon, daytime heating as usual, causing clouds to become mid-level clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds. And if we get up into the upper levels of the atmosphere, those cloud tops will definitely continue to be sheared off towards the east, just like today when we had those cloud tops being sheared off to that direction. So if we get some more thunderstorms again, those cloud tops are going to be sheared off across central and eastern parishes once more. And regarding the actual rainfall forecast map now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 6 a.m. Jamaica time. And both maps are showing some blues represent rainfall across sections of St. Thomas and Portland at that time. Then by around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. The Euro and the GFS models are in agreement that it's going to be raining somewhere in Jamaica. The Euro showing blues represent rainfall across eastern, central, western parishes. The GFS making more sense, showing that rainfall more so across eastern, northern, and western parishes. I'm more inclined to believe the GFS because we're going to be getting more of an east-southeasterly flow, so all of the air would be piling up across sections of some northern and western parishes. So look out for that rainfall if you're in section of St. Thomas and Portland, section of St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, and Westmoreland during the afternoon hours. The Euro not really making much sense with the afternoon rainfall. It's more so eastern, central, western parishes. So look out for that. Morning rainfall out east, afternoon rainfall across eastern, northern, and western Jamaica. And even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in agreement that it's going to be raining somewhere in Jamaica within the next 24 hours. The euro even going up into the slight reds, close to an inch of rainfall across especially central and eastern Jamaica. The GFS making more sense with that rainfall out east and out north and out west for sure, with most of it in the oranges, maybe up to 0.5 of an inch of rainfall. And whatever happens, we'll definitely take it because we're in the month of June. And in Kingston, this bar graph is being shown right here at the top. We usually receive around 110 millimeters of rainfall for the month of June. In Montego Bay's bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom. We usually receive around 6.5 inches of rainfall for the month of June. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of June, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website to show that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. You know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. So you can do the math yourself. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS Supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go to the next 168 hours. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. So we just looked at Wednesday's forecast. Now it is time for us to look at Thursday's forecast. This is 12Z on Thursday. It's actually 7 a.m. And we see that most of the moisture should be to the west of us. Those tropical waves definitely pushing westward. But at that time, we see some greens represent some isolated shores across eastern Jamaica once again. Then on Thursday afternoon, it looks to be eastern, central, and western parishes with that afternoon rainfall. And the GFS, on the other hand, shows that rainfall to the south of us, maybe some slight rainfall across the east as well. Thursday afternoon, not really seeing much of anything. Let's see what Friday morning shows. Friday morning, not really much. Friday afternoon, not really much either on the Euro. What does the GFS show? Friday morning, not much. Friday afternoon, maybe some rainfall out west. Very interesting. Friday is going to be the driest day of the week this year. This week. Saturday morning, not really much either. Saturday afternoon, maybe some isolated showers out west. The GFS for Saturday morning, not much. Saturday afternoon, rainfall across eastern, southern, and western parishes. Very interesting. That's what Sunday morning is showing. Sunday morning, maybe some isolated showers out east. Sunday afternoon, rainfall across eastern, southern, and western parishes. Very interesting. That's what the GFS shows. Sunday morning, rainfall to the north of us. Sunday afternoon, rainfall across maybe some northwestern parishes. Let's see what Monday morning is showing. Monday morning, rainfall out east. Interesting. Could that be another tropical wave? Monday afternoon, rainfall across eastern, central, western parishes. Then at the end of the 168 hours, this is valid for Tuesday, July 1. Don't see much of anything across the island. What do we see on the GFS? Monday morning, nothing. Monday afternoon, maybe some rainfall to the east of us. Look at this. Then a bit later on Monday afternoon, we see rainfall across eastern, northern, and western parishes. And we're stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours, just like the Euro. Not much of anything for Tuesday, July 1 across Jamaica, but clearly we saw all of the moisture associated with future flossy out here in the eastern Pacific to the south of Mexico. Definitely bring a lot of moisture to the section of southern Mexico. Very interesting. But regarding the rainfall forecast maps now, we're going to be looking at what's expected for the next 7 days right here, and not much change at all here on the Euro, and I'm pretty sure that there's not much change at all on the GFS either. The most rain over the next 7 days should be wherever we have the dark reds, purples into the pinks. That represents anywhere from 2 all the way up to maybe 5 inches of rainfall or more. Cross section of Northern South America into Central America, and we see the consensus. Well, at least an inch or less of rainfall expected for the Bahamas, Florida, the Greater Antilles, and the Lesser Antilles. But regarding Jamaica's rainfall totals, both maps are still showing rainfall over the next 7 days, especially across the eastern end, where the Euro has us receiving up to 86 inches of rainfall, 86 millimeters of rainfall, while the GFS only up to at least 53 millimeters of rainfall expected. Regarding the rest of the Caribbean, as shown, we have some low-level clouds pushing through the eastern Caribbean. Lots of thunderstorm across sections of Jamaica, Cuba, and Hispaniola today. We're indeed grateful for that as the tropical wave pushed through. And regarding the Doppler radar images, let's see what's happening down there near Puerto Rico. Not seeing much of anything. Maybe some isolated shores across northern Puerto Rico, the eastern portion of the Dominican Republic. And if we load these images from earlier today, they didn't really see much of anything. The Barbados radar showing some isolated shores passing through to the north of there, pushing into section of Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines as well. Some light to moderate rainfall hit or miss. But I've Doppler radar images showing that rainfall exiting the western portions of Florida. We also see some rainfall across the Yucatan, northern Guatemala, western Jamaica, section of Colombia, northwestern Venezuela. And regarding where the brunt of the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, wherever we see all of these greens, yellows, oranges, and reds, at least up to an inch of rainfall or less for areas such as Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, section of the Yucatan, section of the Cayman Islands, Cuba, Florida, the Bahamas, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and even portions of Trinidad and Tobago and the ABC Islands. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with this forecast. I don't know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.